heroes. We are getting ready for Fun Friday here on the Jew Curious Show, and today we're going to be playing a little Super Mario Odyssey. We'll also answer whatever questions you have about Tisha B'Av, this Jewish holiday that starts on Saturday night. Motzi Shabbos will be commemorating Tisha B'Av. I don't know if celebrating is the right word. Kind of a mournful holiday. We're starting that right after Shabbat. And then I thought I might want to get you in the mood for the High Holy Days. These are holidays that are coming up in the fall in the Jewish calendar of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And don't forget the favorite of 2 out of 3 rabbis that I've talked to. I talked to 3 rabbis, and 2 of them said their favorite holiday was Sukkot, and that comes after Yom Kippur as well. So just to get you in the mood, I know it's about 6-7 weeks away, but you might be seeing notices for High Holy Day services in a synagogue near you, and I want to answer whatever questions you have about either the holidays themselves or how to participate in those holidays with the Jewish community, and we're going to be doing that in just a little bit. Okay, there's our sound levels are coming back. In case you didn't hear a thing I just said, this is the Jew Curious Show. It is, in fact, Fun Friday. That means you can ask me anything about Judaism. I'm your friendly neighborhood rabbi, John Carrier, and Triggers and Viv is here. Good morning. Nice to see you already in the chat. We are going to get on the camera in just a bit. I've got to straighten my hair, and it's a little bit out of sorts. I think I might get a haircut today. Maybe I won't get a haircut. It's the 9 days. I shouldn't get a haircut today. But in any case, speaking of 9 days, if you want to know what that is, hit me up here on the chat, answering whatever questions you have about the Jewish holiday of Tisha B'Av that starts sundown on Saturday. So that's tomorrow night. And then after that, we've got the High Holy Days coming up. You might have some questions about that, either theological questions, spiritual questions, questions about the tradition, or simply logistical questions on how you can connect with the High Holy Days in your community. Let's see. K. Dixie says, greetings to Radio Rabbi from sunny Southern California. Nice to have you here, Kay. And let's see. I want to straighten my hair a little bit. Just fix that. And all right, let's go ahead and get on camera. It's a little warm this morning, so I might be glistening just a bit. Here we go, and welcome back to the Jew Curious Show. Let's see, got my kippah on, got my bookshelf kind of straightened up. I got some camels up there. There's our ketubah from our wedding. So I've got all my Jewish stuff in one place, which is easy when you've got Jewish stuff scattered all over the place here. Triggers and Viv says, Shabbat Shalom from the desert of Washington. Very glad to have you here, Trig. And let's see, in just a second, we'll get started with our Fun Friday game of the day, which will be Super Mario Odyssey. Been playing Splatoon for a couple of weeks, but we're going to change things up. First off, I finished Splatoon. I completed the campaign in that one, and I'm not hip to the online version just yet, but I thought we'd have a little fun with a classic, or rather an updated classic, Super Mario Odyssey. KG Wilcox says, hello, everybody from... let's see, I know KG is coming in from Philadelphia, and it's Susan Bird says, hi, all, Shabbat Shalom. So glad to see you all in the chat. I'll say, if you are here for the first time, and you're wondering whether you're in the right place, or whether this is even the right computer to be using right now, this is the Jew Curious Show. What we do here is we talk to Jew-curious folks, and that could mean that you're Jewish and you're curious about why we have some of the traditions that we have. It could mean that you're not Jewish yet, but you're thinking about it, or you're curious about it, and you want to know why Jews do the things that they do, and what they're some of the meanings of the holidays, how we interpret the Bible differently from, say, other people who have nominally a similar Bible. Whatever you're curious about, whether you're Jewish or not, you are in the right place to ask questions. The best way to do that is hop on the live chat here in Twitch. Now, we are simulcasting to YouTube, which is a favorite platform of mine. Got started there. I just like the Twitch is better for my equipment. It buffers less and less herky-jerky and hurly-burly to watch it. But so if you're on Facebook, if you're watching us live streaming on Facebook, you are welcome to watch us there. I will say, if you're on Facebook or YouTube and you want to get in the live chat, let's see, Twitch is the right place to do that, because right now with my current equipment, I can only monitor one live chat at a time, and I'm watching the one on Twitch where I see Triggers and Viv is here, K Dixie is here, KG Wilcox, Naya Shashi, good morning, fam. Good morning to you, Ruthie. And Nawas64 says Boker Tov, and I say Boker Or to Nawas64. That's a common Hebrew greeting. People say Boker Tov, and the proper response is Boker Or, and Boker Tov means good morning. Or morning good, technically speaking, and Boker Or means morning light, which it certainly is. D2, Czech Republic saying hi. So glad to see you here from the Czech Republic. We are international, y'all, and bi-coastal in the U.S. and international, and a few people in between, maybe from space. I don't know if people can watch this from space. Someday, B'ezrat Hashem, we will spread out across the galaxy, and we will still play Mario Odyssey while answering whatever questions you have about Judaism. Thank you for joining us on the Jew Curious Show. If there's other ways that you can connect with me and with this community, a bunch of time. If you're watching this on Twitch, look down below. Take your eyes off the video for a second. I don't need you to watch me the whole time. Look down below. There are various ways. I have a book you could read, kind of my story and what all of these Jewish traditions and wisdom mean to me personally. Let's see, there's a podcast out there, the Jew Curious Show podcast, which is kind of how we started the whole Jew Curious community, maybe movement. I don't know. I don't want to get too serious about it, but there's several episodes of that podcast available. We also have what we call the Jew Curious School, and I'll be talking about that a little bit more today as we get ready to prepare for the High Holy Days. The Jew Curious School is it's an online yeshiva, if you will. So it's a place where you can get together and learn about Jewish stuff. There's a complete introduction to Judaism course in there, as well as several, let's say, intermediate level courses with deeper dives into various subjects. My favorite part about the Jew Curious School is the community. There's also a great bulletin board where people check in with each other, ask questions, answer each other's questions. I answer questions. I ask questions from time to time. I don't know everything, and nobody does. So nobody on this earth anyway. So anyway, the Jew Curious School is a fantastic place where we get together, and pretty soon we're going to be starting. We're going to be starting on Monday a course dedicated to exploring the high holy days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And so that starts next week on Monday. And so if you want to be in the know for that and have access to all the other courses that we have on the Jew Curious School, go ahead and check that out. Go to jewcurious.school/info, and that'll give you some more info on whether this might be the right place for you, and you might want to try it out. So with that, just want to see a couple people. Let's see. Trigger Sniv says, do I have... so I have a 10 commandments question. It says, as one of the commandments, not to worship a god before me. So as converts who had believed in a different god, how does that work? And so there's in English, the preposition before has multiple meanings. There's a temporal before, as when one thing happens and then a few seconds elapse and another thing happens after that. Before is the opposite of after. Once heard a comedian in Minneapolis say, from now on, he's instead of saying after, he's going to say be5. I give some credit to P-Bow for that joke. But this is before, as in priority, not temporally. You shall worship no other gods before me. Like no god jumps in line before the one God. And that's what that means. It's not, if somebody worshiped another God and they decided to stop that, and then worshiped the God that we're talking about in the Hebrew Bible, that's okay, right? As long as it's with, let's say, exclusive relationship with the one God that's giving us the Ten Commandments. Before doesn't mean temporally. It means don't give priority to another God. And that's one of the things that people declare when they convert to Judaism, is they say, I'm letting go of any prior religious commitments, right? I'm not going to be Jewish and something else. That doesn't mean you have to disavow your family or disavow any relationship in your life if somebody's worshiping another thing and you're still hanging out with them. You don't have to lose your identity. It just means that whatever commitments you had made to another religion, you are done with that, and now you're moving on to an exclusive relationship with Hashem, with the God that's giving us the Ten Commandments. I hope that's helpful for you. So totally okay if you started out worshiping something else, and now you're dedicated to the God of the Ten Commandments, then that's fine. And that you are not placing any other God between you and that God. I hope that clarifies it a little bit. Sometimes things get lost in translation, and I hear prepositions such as before are the hardest. Speaker AJ says, Shalom from Nashville. It says, I wonder if the Kabbalat Shabbat component of tonight's service will be shortened because of Tisha B'Av. I remember Kabbalat Shabbat was shortened because of the 8th day of Pesach, and I was confused. So sometimes when holidays coincide, like another holiday falls on Shabbat, it will alter the Kabbalat Shabbat liturgy. One thing that's interesting about Tisha B'Av, there are lots of interesting things about Tisha B'Av, is that when a fast day, a general rule is when a fast day falls on Shabbat, unless it's Yom Kippur, which is sort of the most important holiday of the year, or some people, I don't know about the most important. Some people say it's the holiest day of the year. It's the one fast day that can fall on Shabbat, because one of the names for Yom Kippur in the Torah is the Shabbat Shabbaton. It's sort of, or the Shabbat Shabbatonim. It's the Sabbath of all Sabbaths. You don't even eat. That's how chill you are. But any other fast day that falls on Shabbat, because we have another principle that says don't fast on Shabbat. Like if you're fasting for some other reason, don't fast on Shabbat. Now, if it's like doctor's orders, health reasons, and you're saving your life by fasting, that's a different story. There's a lot of competing principles here. If the doctor says you have to fast, and it's Shabbat, then follow doctor's orders. But generally speaking, we don't fast on Shabbat. So if something like Tisha B'Av, which is our only other full fast day, the 25-hour, sundown to sundown kind of fast, besides Yom Kippur, if Tisha B'Av falls on Shabbat, you delay Tisha B'Av one day. So Tisha B'Av actually it falls on Shabbat. It's supposed to start at sundown tonight by the Jewish calendar. Today's the 8th of Av. Tonight starts the 9th of Av, which is what Tisha B'Av means. But we set it aside for one day, and then we go through Shabbat, and then tomorrow on the 10th of Av, we celebrate the 9th of Av. And so there may be, somebody in your own synagogue may adjust things a little bit, but Tisha B'Av technically starts tomorrow. And so that's how that works. I hope that's helpful. Let's see. Christy B. Good to see you, Christy. Good morning. I got locked out of my old account, but I am back. I am glad you are back. Sorry you got locked out. Yay, glad to have you here. KG Wilcox says, yay, Christy. K. Dixie says, yay, Christy made it back. This is how cool the people are in the Jew Curious Show community. Everybody's happy to see everybody else. And I'll say, like, if you're lurking and you don't feel like jumping into the chat, that's totally okay. You are welcome here just to learn with us, however you see fit. So don't want to call any lurkers out, but if you want to jump in the chat, you can see that this is a pretty friendly crowd. Radio Angel is here. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you, Radio Angel. And so you'll see that this is the kindest, gentlest, most supportive community you could be a part of in the chat. So don't be shy. Say hi. Let us know where you're coming from. People often have amusing handles here on Twitch, and I always get a kick out of that. We got D2D2 up there from the Czech Republic. Good to see you here. So in any case, if you want to chat with us, come to Twitch. It's twitch.tv/JewCurious. You might have to set up an account, but it takes like that. It's like the easiest account setup I've seen on any digital platform that I'm familiar with. And just jump in and say hello. Let us know where you're coming from, just because I like to see, not only do I like to see what the expanse is of this community, but you might meet somebody in your area. You never know. We get a lot of people here from Southern California. Coincidentally, I'm here in Southern California. But we got people in Washington, Philly, the Czech Republic today, all over the place. So glad to have you here. I'm going to put on my ear goggles over my kippa here, because we are getting ready to play Mario. It's going to be it's another fun Friday. I know it's the 9 days, so it's sort of a mournful time where we don't goof around too much, but we're going to goof around a little just because, again, this is what we do on Fridays here on the Drew Curious Show. I tell you what, I will not be dancing. There will be no dancing on my part today. And some people observe on Tisha B'Av, on the 9th of Av, that before Tisha B'Av even starts, they have what they call the 9 days diet. So people don't eat meat or drink wine or other intoxicant for the 9 days leading up to Tisha B'Av, except on Shabbat. Because on Shabbat, we're encouraged to have sumptuous foods and possibly beverages that give us joy. So it's not Shabbat yet. Not going to be eating meat today here on this channel. However, we are going to have a little bit of fun on Fun Friday. And then we'll be mournful Sunday. How about that? So, let's see. Going to get all my pipes lined up. Alrighty. Well, I just got smaller and Mario just got bigger. So what is going on here? I'm going to turn off the Pretzel Rocks music and balance out the sound. Really much obliged to all the subscribers out there. We've got several people subscribed to this channel at this point, which means for as little as $5 a month, you can watch these broadcasts advertising free, which is nice. You know, some people like the advertisements. You learn about new products, and some people like the advertisements that, you know, support the overall platform. But if you want to watch it ad-free, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel. I think it's $5 a month, $4.99 technically. And then every time you watch one of these videos, you don't have to watch the ads. The other thing you could do that I really appreciate people doing is throwing bits. We're going to start a new game because this is a game that I've finished with my kids, but I'm going to see if I can fly it solo. Start. All right. So let's see. Do we have audio coming in from Mario? Turn that up a little bit. Got some questions coming in. Nawa64 says, Rabbi, a question along the lines of no other gods. My adult kids are currently living with us for the interim. They do not observe, quite the contrary. We have asked them not to practice pagan rituals in our home. What is your take? So I think there's actually two commandments in play. And one is the idea of not following other practices. I'm not as familiar with the pagan rituals of these days, but I hear that's a thing now. So in this thing, I think kind of the defining principle is another commandment, what's called kibud av ve'em, or honoring one's parents. And so, look, if they're not on your same path, and I know sometimes that's painful or challenging when your kids are on a different spiritual path from you, but I know that happens in families, especially nowadays. I think it's reasonable to say, out of, if they're staying with you for a bit, if they're in your home, and it's important in your home to, if not do all the things that you do, but to refrain from certain other things, then I think it's a reasonable request to say, look, this in my home, I'm not comfortable with these other rituals going on. Can't stop you from being who you are, but I can request that you don't necessarily do those things that you do here. And I think just having an open conversation and say, express to them the pain or discomfort that it causes you. Say, I respect you for who you are. I respect your choices in this house. The choice of mutual respect is from refraining from certain things, and maybe helping them brainstorm other outlets for that. If there's other locations, other people that they know who practice those things, but I think it's a reasonable request for them to honor the space that they're in and honor your wishes on that. So I hope that's helpful. Annie86 says, hi, good morning. Welcome, Annie86. Nice to see you here. So just to wrap it up, Nawa64, that's kind of my take. Yeah, I think if you can't make them do all the things that you do, but you can request that they refrain from things that are not in keeping with the spirit of your household. K Dixie says, if you like these podcasts, consider subscribing. Only $4.99 per month. Thank you, K Dixie, one of my greatest supporters here. And I'll say morally. Let's see, start. All right, let's start some Mario Kart here. Nawa 64. Ta-da, Rabbi. That has been a part of our take. Yet it makes them distance themselves from Shabbat dinner, etc. And we're in the skies above Peach's castle. This is getting scary. I'm going to turn this down a little bit because that Bowser. Maybe it's not as scary to you, but my controller is vibrating right now. So I think, my take on getting kids to do the things that you like to do is just do the things that you like to do. Show the kind of joy that you find in it, and kids may be attracted to that. Make their favorite foods, right? And then maybe that'll get them to the table and say, okay, we're going to do Shabbat dinner. I made your jelly bean enchiladas the way you like them, and if you want to come. So there's an old story from Menachem Mendel of Kotsk where a guy said, Rabbi, I can't get my son to study Torah. No matter how many times I tell him to study Torah, he won't. Oh, Bowser's pretty upset about Mario's hat. And the Kotsker Rebbe says, Tepesh, you can't tell your son to study Torah. If you tell your child to study Torah, all you're teaching him or her how to do is tell their child to study Torah. And eventually you have a whole family legacy of pushing your kids around, but nobody actually studies Torah. The thing you should do is study Torah yourself. And if your child sees you studying Torah and sees you enjoying it and having it improve your life, then they will probably want to imitate you. Odds are much more likely than if you just told them what to do. So live your life with joy. Practice those things that bring you joy, and other people will be attracted to that, including perhaps your own kids. So, and you never know. And it may take years, and it may never happen. But that's what little I've learned in 43 years with 4 kids and a little bit of Torah learning. So let's see. I'm going to look around, and then I'm going to jump. Okay, there's a hat that is teasing me with my own hat. Let's see. Okay, so we are playing Mario Odyssey. It's looking pretty grim. I think I'm going to follow that guy. Let's see if I want to run, jump, or look around. This is how I do it. Whoop. Hey, buddy. Let's see. There's some frogs. Play leapfrog with an actual frog. How often do you get to do that? Whoop. Excuse me, buddy. I just had to get that coin. Whoa, who are you? Who am I? You're the talking hat. Okay. You're not one of them, are you? Uh-oh, we're already being othered. Let's see. KG Wilk, showing by action is always good. We're at 100. KDixie says we're at 187 followers. If you click on the little purple heart, you can receive notifications, and it's free. It certainly is. Let's see what this hat is saying to us. Sorry for running away like that. You startled me, and I do startle easily. Some great Tisha. I saw what happened earlier. You've been through quite the ringer. Speaking of quite the ringer, KG Wilcox says, Christy B, if you use caffeine, cut back before fasting. So these are some great fasting tips. I'll say there are 2 schools of thought on caffeine. There are those who, before fasting for Yom Kippur, Tisha B'Av, something like that, start gradually cutting back on caffeine so that they don't have such severe caffeine withdrawal symptoms on the fast day, which can kind of complicate your spiritual work. The other school of thought is to double down. And I'll say that's the school of thought that I'm a part of, meaning have a whole bunch of coffee right before the holiday starts, and maybe you don't sleep as well that night, but you get through the fast day a little bit easier. That's my particular practice, but the cutting back is very popular too, and probably better for you. Let's see. You've landed in Cap Kingdom. We've been under attack by the same Bowser monster that gave you such a trouncing. Hey, I didn't know you saw that. And to make matters worse, the fiend has kidnapped my little sister. Oh no, what a fiend. So he's kidnapped Peach and a hat person and turned her into a tiara. I hope to give chase to that monster in a ship of my own. That ship? Okay, then. Unfortunately, all of our airships were wrecked in the attack. Nawas 64's son's here. Rabbi. Oh, this is Nawas 64's son. Okay, Rabbi, in my daily prayers, should I not be reciting them out loud since I'm not going to a synagogue as a part of a minyan? You could say them out loud when it's just you at home. That's totally fine. And often, if you feel a little self-conscious being at home, there's thinking that you should say the words so that you could hear them, at least for the Shema. And there's some discussion about this in the Mishnah Brachot, the first volume of the Mishnah, where it talks about how to say the words of prayer. And the common opinion is you say them in what's called balachash. It's sort of like a stage whisper, or say them just loud enough that you can hear them, but maybe a person a few seats down can't hear you say them. So it's quite and it's considered acceptable. If you say them silently, that's up to you. But I think a nice practice is to say them out loud. But you don't have to say them super loud, but just enunciating the words, hearing yourself say them out loud, I think has enhances the quality of prayer. It also gets you used to saying the words. If Hebrew is something you're just learning or something you're wanting to get better at, it's good to have your mouth make those sounds, even if it's quiet. So if you're praying by yourself, you can totally say the words. I often do. Sometimes I'll sing them out like I was in the synagogue, just to practice for when I am in the synagogue, because sometimes I'm praying just privately by myself. Often I am leading prayers in a synagogue, and just by praying out loud by myself the way I would lead the congregation, with some modifications because I don't have 30 or 50 people there, it's practice. It just means that the next time I'm saying them with people, I'll be better at it, or I'll feel more confident about it. So I hope that's helpful for you. KG Wilcox says, we're talking about fasting. Triggers and Viv says, my head would explode without caffeine. Split in two. KG Wilcox says, there are also suppositories, I hear, that contain caffeine and Tylenol to help you get through. What's your take? So I'm not going to tell anybody to use or not to use a suppository. When I'm like the day, for me, a fast day, the point is to be a little bit, at least a little bit uncomfortable, at least feel a difference. And so if people need to take medication either orally or otherwise, or people need to take maybe, there's fasting pills out there that do the same thing. There's sort of time release capsules that slow release caffeine, that slow release pain relievers or anti-headache stuff. Whatever sort of helps you get through the fast while keeping in the spirit. And if you like the law of the fast, you do you. I'm not going to yuck your yums. I've managed to get, at least in my current practice, I can fast without without any kind of slow release medication in any part of my body. I'm sorry, I'm very juvenile. I giggle the concept of suppositories. But in any case, whatever it takes to get you through the day, help you get through the day. I managed to fast without needing that caffeine hit or the headache medicine, but I don't judge people who need more. I know a rabbi who gets severe migraines when fasting, not necessarily because of the caffeine, but just debilitating, blinding migraines if she doesn't eat for a certain period of time. And for her, she'll have a boiled egg, or a little bit of tuna, or some small thing. Like, she's not eating like she normally eats. She's cutting that way back, but just so that she can, pray, she has a little bit of food, right? And that's how she gets through it. So the other piece of it is, all right, it says, it's Susan Bird says, subscribe to Tier 1. I just want to acknowledge that real quick. Thank you so much for your support of this channel, and enjoy your ad-free watching experience. That's what I wanted to say earlier. For everybody who subscribes and throws some bits, you're helping me make the sound better. We recently lost our preamp in the Jew Curious AV closet So saving up for another preamp. It's about $300 so that the microphone sounds a little bit better. Every little bit helps. Thank you for that. So I'll say the other school is one very important thing about fasting. Don't kill yourself, quite literally. It's not in the section on Tisha B'Av, but talking about Yom Kippur. If your doctor says you should not fast, you are not only are you excused, but you are forbidden from fasting by Jewish law. If your doctor says you cannot fast, then you cannot fast, and even if you feel strong enough to. So, if it is going to jeopardize your life, you don't you break the fast. So just want to be super clear about that. As it says, there's some commentary. There's a passage in Deuteronomy says the law was given to you to live by, and the rabbis completed that sentence, to live by and not to die by. So do what you need to do. Not everybody fasts. Not everybody can fast. If you can, good. If you want to, you should, and it can be a good experience. If it's going to kill you, don't do it. I'd much rather have you alive, and the Jewish community would much rather have you alive than punctiliously observant and no longer alive. So that is my 2 cents there. Annie 86 threw us 500. Cheers! Thank you so much. That's so nice. Let's see. Triggers and Viv says, I'm unable to fast this time entirely on meds for pinched nerve. So if follow the doctor's orders, that is priority. God says through Moses in Deuteronomy, we have a path of life and a path of death in front of us. We have 2 paths in front of us. One is for life. One is for death, or at least, spiritual death, not as nice a life. And then God says, choose life in the imperative. Like that's, God gives us options, but has an opinion on that. So choose life this year. I know it's a bummer if it's something you really want to do and you're not able to. There's next year, God willing. We all have time. So let's see. KG Wilcox says another school of thought, Ari Tisha B'Av, fast half a day for the temples, then rejoice the triumph of rabbinic Judaism. Hooray that we're not sacrificing animals anymore. I don't know if I told you about my experience last week. I had a Christian group visiting the synagogue, and they were asking, there was a child who was pretty knowledgeable about the Bible, but looking through the Hebrew Bible said, oh, there's all this animal sacrifice. Where do you guys do that now? Like, what part of this building do you do that in? And what I should have said is, okay, just follow me and we'll look for the drains. I didn't say that. I said, no, we don't do that anymore. We haven't for about 2,000 years now. Here's why. Here's what we do instead. Let's see. All right, let's get on with a little Mario Kart here. Let's see. I could get us there if only I could reach the Top Hat Tower, which is being guarded by Bowser's monster henchmen. Oh, no. It seems we're after the same thing. Perhaps we should team up. Let's see if we can help his sister and my princess, Peach. Not your style. No furry top hat here. How about this? Okay, now my hat has eyes. I think I'm tripping a little bit here. Annie86 says, I'm usually just a lurker. I'd like to show my support for a change. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that, and you're really helping out this channel. So props to Annie86. Let's see. Cappy is now my companion. So try throwing me with a Y. Whoop. Also shake the Pro Controller to throw. Okay, cool. Oh, hey, look at that. I got some money out of things. My airship is ruined. Go in there and get some bling. Get some more of that. Those things come in handy a little bit later. I work on my aim. Freed some birds. Okay, where am I going here? I think I'm trying to get to that Top Hat Tower. Whoop. Alka snap. Whoop. Whoop. All right, Kid Dixie is cheering for new subscribers. Very good. We got 2 cheers this morning. This is cheer. Somebody else can cheer. Make it an even 3, an odd 3, I guess. Let's see. Here we go. Whee! Oop. Oh. Forgot all about mushroom guys who are not my friend. Okay, so I'm in the top of the Top Hat Tower. Inside. Oh, I'm inside the Top Hat now. Reminds me, I've been reading a book about Abraham Lincoln. I don't know why I made it think of top hats. And when I say reading, I mean I've got an audiobook about Abraham Lincoln. Doris Kearns Goodwin's oh hey, now I've possessed a frog. I've been listening to the audiobook of Doris Kearns Goodwin's A Team of Rivals about Abraham Lincoln, and what? I'm now inside a frog's brain. Seems like a kind of an excessive cutscene. Whoop. Radio Angel says totally still counts as reading. And I have to say, I don't know how long this book is, but it is a 40-hour audiobook, which means you can listen to it for an entire work week. And that would just be your one job that week. Whoop. Okay, this seems handy. Alrighty. K Dixie says, yes, I've heard of intermittent fasting for those who can't do the entire fast. Press Z to return ZL to return to normal. Okay, that's me. Excuse me, Mr. Frog. He's a little confused because I've been possessing his body. So, speaking of top hats, right now I'm about halfway through. It's a really good book. I highly recommend it. It's got some good, Civil War history in there, pre-Civil War history, the history of what led up to the Civil War. But best, and I think this is her theme, is how Lincoln led, how he operated as a leader, rather than just choosing sides and sticking to his guns on one side or another. He was meticulous about bringing competitors into his cabinet. People was really insistent on bringing all the people whom he had defeated in his party primary into his cabinet. And even when he selected generals for the Civil War, for the Union Army, he selected people who didn't necessarily agree with him, but would help him build a broader and broader coalition among previously competing factions. So here are some bad guys. They're all rabbits, it appears, of various height and colors of dress. Excuse me. Got some frog. I got a frog in my throat. I was just in a frog's throat, and now the tables have turned. Oh, it's the Brutals. I think that means Brutals. We got that treasure we needed, so we ain't got no more business in these parts. Are they from Brooklyn? Of course, we're roughing up Goody Two-Shoes meddlers was in the contract, so I guess we still got a little work to do. All right, we are already in a boss battle. We've not been playing for seconds, and now we're in a boss battle. So let's see how this goes. I forgot how to throw my hat. Oh. All right. Jump on his brain, apparently. And now his hats have spikes in them. take one of those. Okay, so apparently all I have to do is take his hats off and then jump on his head. All right. I don't like to be violent. I didn't mean for him to explode, but it's okay. I played this game before. He does come back later. So if you're worried about the Brutal Bunny, he'll be all right. He just disappeared in a cartoon fashion. Oh, look, I just started the game. This is a little bit like Psuke de Zimra, where you have some service before the service to get you ready for the service. So if you're just joining us, welcome to the Jew Curious Show. This is a show where people who are curious about Judaism, whether you're Jewish or not yet, but you have some questions about Judaism, this is the place to ask. I'm your friendly neighborhood rabbi, John Carrier. I've been teaching on YouTube for about 5 years now, and started a podcast last year. It's called the Jew Curious Show, which has morphed and evolved. Still some podcast episodes left to go, but we've been doing more and more on live video streaming, and my favorite platform so far is Twitch, just because with the equipment I have, it's the least herky-jerky in the live streaming videos. And on Fridays, we like to have a little fun. So Mondays is always an Ask Me Anything Monday. You can ask me anything you want to know about Judaism. On Fridays, it's the exact same thing, except we play video games while we're doing it. If you want to join us for a chat with a question you may have about Tisha B'Av or the upcoming High Holy Days, I have a little bit of an announcement to make when we get to about an hour in, maybe 20 minutes from now. So if you want to stick around for that or come back for that around 10 o'clock or so Pacific time, there's some fun stuff coming up pretty soon that I want to make sure you know about. So for right now, we're going to follow this talking hat. Oh yeah, what a ride. We made it to the Cascade Kingdom. Sorry, a little bit amped from capturing that power line. Let's see if got a couple of more questions coming in. If we're fasting on Tisha B'Av, can we drink water? So Tisha B'Av, in the manner of fasting, is just like Yom Kippur, no food or water for 25 hours. Now, as somebody said earlier, there are those who sort of fast for half a day, and that is a spiritual practice as well. But if you're fasting, then the idea is no food or beverages during the fast. Nawa64 says, Rabbi, any special readings other than liturgy for Tisha B'Av in the home? So one of the ideas behind Tisha B'Av, it is supposed to be the most mournful day of the year. And when the rabbis were making the rules about Tisha B'Av, they said, okay, you can't do anything fun. You can't play Mario Odyssey, for example. No singing, no dancing, and nothing that leads to dancing, as the Baptists say. And of course, the thing that they thought was most fun was studying Torah. And so they say, nothing fun, not even studying Torah. So we're actually discouraged from studying Torah on Tisha B'Av. And some other rabbis said, we're rabbis. Like, we're not going to read the Torah one day. We're going to go a whole day. And they said, okay, if you must read Torah, you can read the Book of Lamentations, the book Echa, which is Hebrew for the Book of Lamentations. That you can read. So if you're looking for things to read about, you could read about the tragedies that are going on in the world right now in the news. If you want to read some Torah, you can look over the book of Echa, Lamentations. Many synagogues, not all synagogues, and you might have to look. If you want to see a Tisha B'Av service or participate in one, check with your local synagogue whether they're having a service. Just because this is one of the more, I'll say, sparsely observed holidays. It's not like Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So a synagogue that may have regular services may not have a Tisha B'Av service. What happens is, in many places, at least like LA, where there are a number of synagogues, is that a few synagogues will sort of merge their activities and get together. So check your local listings. But what happens on Friday night is that there is a reading of the book of Echa. Either one or two chapters or all of it in Hebrew, sometimes in English. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll be doing a couple of chapters in Hebrew in Pasadena tonight, for example. So if you want to do a special reading, do a close reading of the Book of Lamentations. And I say that knowing that Lamentations is an awful, awful book. Right? They say, if you're going to read any Torah, read only the very saddest book. And it is sad. It's talking about sieges and starvation and deprivation in very graphic terms. people being forced to eat their own children, things like that. And so it's horrible to think about. It's horrible to read about. But it's also meant to kind of put you in the space of what was it like when the city of Jerusalem was under siege a couple of thousand years ago, and put us there and make us really feel what those folks were feeling. So that's our special reading for Tisha B'Av. You can read, you can hear Tisha B'Av being chanted in the synagogue. You can read it at home, but that's my advice there. Triggers and Viv says, I think your mic is better today, or my ears are clearer. Are we closer? We're a little bit closer every single day. It might take us a couple of weeks here to get the preamp, but I'm also leaning in a little bit, and I'm learning how to use this microphone better. Let's see. I've heard that people leave in silence after the Tisha B'Av service. Tisha B'Av service is meant to look a little bit like Shiva. When you're there, you may notice people sitting on the floor. Or on cushions on the floor. People often take their shoes off for a Tisha B'Av service. Much like Yom Kippur, people might not wear leather shoes, for example. So take your canvas Keds or your Vans or something like that. And if other people are taking off their shoes, feel free to take your shoes off, because that's what people do in a house of mourning, is people might sit on the floor or on low cushions and take their shoes off. So you might see people, this might be the only time of year you see people taking their shoes off during a synagogue service. So feel free to participate in that. And as Kay Dixie says, sometimes people leave in silence. You don't greet each other. You don't, do big bro hugs and high fives and things like that. It's supposed to be solemn. It's supposed to be mournful. So just watch what other people are doing and do that and see how that changes your experience. Let's see. We're looking for an old airship, apparently. Back to Mario. We are in Waterfall Basin. What is with this hat? Oh, hey, look at that. What does this say? Travel tip, homing cap throw. After throwing your cap, shake the controller. Okay. Your cap will fly to the nearest target you see. It's super handy when your aim is a little off. What are you trying to say? Okay, I'm going to throw my cap and shake. Okay. Oh, look, found a ramp. Fully accessible. Okay. Whoop. I think that's what I'm supposed to do. And boop. Oh, that looks like something I'm supposed to grab. Ruff, ruff. This guy gets so excited every time he finds a moon. Our first power moon. Look at that. All right, it's very unsafe. Multi-moon atop the falls. Oh, there's one of the Brutals is up there. Something tells me there's going to be violence. Those will come in handy to power the airship, which we still haven't seen. Okay, here we go. Alakasnap. Alakazoom. Oh, what is this? There it is, the Argos. There it is. This is what we were looking for. So this is an airship, apparently. Just an older model. Let's give it a shot. Just throw the hat on the globe over there. Ooh, oh, that's slightly helpful. Nothing's happening. I wonder if we can find more around here. Okay, let's go. Odyssey. Odyssey needs 4 more of these moon thingies. Okay, when in doubt, go up. Christy B, this is probably one of my favorite games on Switch. This is the first game we played. When I got the Switch, I played this with my daughters. Good, clean, family fun. Get some of these. This might come in handy. Looks like Cheerios. Play a little pool here. Boosh! That's how that works. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I'm just going to avoid these guys if at all possible. Okay, that's how that works. Okay. We need to get some health points up in here. Okay, let's see. Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. Dun, 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 dun. All right, we're going in old school TD. That's 2 dimensions for you folks. Let's see if I can say hello to my little mushroom friend. There we go. Nothing personal, buddy. All right, now I'm back in 3-dimensional space. Rabbi, another question. I was on another site today, and they were discussing clothing color for Tisha B'Av. Suggestions? I think just the idea that, once again, it's supposed to... The overwhelming attitude for Tisha B'Av is one of mourning. So, modest, muted, not necessarily what you would wear to beach blanket bingo. I think, you know, something you'd wear to a funeral or a Shiva service or something like that. And it really varies by region and by community. Wait. Okay. There we go. Oh, there's a little heart there too, just in time. Yeah, so I would think wear something like you'd wear to a funeral or to a Shiva house. But again, sometimes in the Shiva house, people are just happy if you show up. So if you don't have formal funeral clothes, don't let that stop you from participating. Just, yeah, no bikinis. What's this? You say you need to repair some silly old airship? Yes, I do. Someone wants to be a snack for my adorable Chain Chompkins. Lady, we could just resolve this peacefully as friends, but if you're going to push me to this violence... Whoop, look at that. Need some leeway. Splendid. Okay. That's handy. I gotta knock its hat off before I put my hat on it. Gotta get enough distance from her to pull. Probably one more ought to do it. Alright, gotta... Usually the third time's a charm. A little bit of the move juice on this Friday morning on the 8th of Av, because tonight's the 9th of Av. But We're celebrating the 9th of Av on the 10th of Av because whenever it's a fast day, that's not Yom Kippur that falls on Shabbat. We delay it by one day. Let's see. We've been going for about 54 minutes right now and 54 seconds. Just about 5 minutes, I'm going to share something exciting that's happening in the Jew Curious School, just to make sure you know about it if it's something you're interested in doing with us. So, for the meantime, it's Fun Friday here, and I've just got a multi-moon. And if anybody's worried about the current status of the Brutal, I think she just goes away for a little while because she does come back later, and at the end, everybody's still alive. One of the nice things about this game. Great for kids and families, and Jew-curious people alike. It's as strong as 3 power moons combined. It should get the ship moving in no time. Let's give it a shot. We might have to get one more moon here. Let's see. Let's give it a try. I'm very bad at my aim. There we go. I think we needed 4 moons, so this is going to get us most of the way there, but we might have to go get some more. Oh! So close. Still more power moons we could find. Let's have a look around. Okay, where do we go from here? One of these guys. Nothing personal, buddy. I'm just going to go around you. Sometimes the answer is not to engage. What's the secret you're seeking? Okay, I can tell you, but I'll give you a clue. Behind the waterfall. Okay, that guy's helpful, so now I gotta find a waterfall. There's a waterfall over there. Oh, what's this? Didn't see this area before. Well, this looks promising. If you're Mario, always go in the pipe. KG Wilcox says, I like this. It's Ashkenazi and Orthodox normative, but informative. Jewish Kuldrendromos. Some things about how to observe Tisha B'Av. So thank you for sharing that resource, KG Wilcox. Alrighty. That looks like, that purple stuff looks like it's an unpleasant place to be. Boosh! Something tells me I'm going to find a power moon in here. Have to get that guy at an angle. It's a little bit like playing billiards with a paddle ball. Boop, 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 boop. Some good old school Mario music there. Have a double. Hey, there's a power moon. I think I just need the one more. And then I am out of here. Okay, Dixie says, Naya Shashi, I've seen Orthodox in my neighborhood wearing black skirts or slacks and white top shirts on mournful days. On Yom Kippur, they wear mostly white. Yeah, this is, so, you know, there's some neighborhoods where people wear black and white all the time. But yeah, Tisha B'Av, it's, you wear dress modestly and mournfully and nothing too ostentatious. Looks like we have all the power moons we need. So let's get back to the ship. I think I could probably just look at the, oh, get some more of these little coiny coins here. Never know when those might come in handy. Oh, what's that? There's another power moon over there. We'll best not get greedy. Just how do I get out of here? Maybe I'll check the map. That's not it. Nope, that's not it. There's the Talkatoo. Where's the ship? Okay, I'm going to go to the ship. Trying to warp back to the ship, not let me do that. Okay, well. Where is my ship? Oh, there it is. So beat up and rusty looking, I can identify it. All right, everybody, welcome to the Jew Curious Show. We're about an hour in this morning, and I just want to share with you something that's going on. Let's see what this ship is all about. Then I want to share something that's going on in the Jew Curious School that you might want to know about. A little hint has to do with the high holy days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. All right, the Odyssey is restored. Look, just a few hats and moons, and it's got a brand new coat of paint on it. Buffed all that rust out of there. And now we're going to go someplace. Oh, that looks like a boat. Is that Bowser's boat on some continent? We've got enough fuel to reach the Sand Kingdom. Let's go. Oh, I love the Sand Kingdom. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I've played this game before, and the Sand Kingdom has a very kind of Dia de los Muertos vibe to it. So let's go there. All right, as we're taking our journey to the Sand Kingdom, what I want to share with you is next week, on Monday, in fact, Monday at, let's say, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we are starting a 4-lesson series on the High Holy Days. And this is a regular feature for Jew Curious School members. So if you're watching this, you're already in the school, you're already covered, you're cool, you'll be there. Or you'll watch in the replay. Because how the Jew Curious School works is there is a regular tuition membership, but once you're there, you're inside this private school, and there is a complete introduction to Judaism class, which we just finished recording. It's 26 lessons, everything you need to know to get started in your Jewish learning. And but another thing that we have is these more in-depth courses, where over the course of 4 lessons, or 4 weeks if we're recording it live, like we will be next week, we take a deep dive into a particular area. And starting next week, we're taking a deep dive into the high holy days, that is Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And we'll be starting with talking about the month of Elul, like how to prepare for these things, get into the Jewish law and traditions about tshuva itself. And if you don't know what tshuva is, or teshuvah is kind of how it's spelled, but in common yeshivish it's tshuva. But that means repentance or return, or if you will, self-improvement. How do I take stock of the year that I had before and improve in the coming year? And sometimes that requires changing your ways. Sometimes it requires making amends with people. And so we're going to talk not just about the holidays themselves and the different rituals and parts of the prayer service and things like that, but the science of services, but also the art and science of improving your life, of improving your relationships with it, which is a big theme for the High Holy Days. And then, of course, we'll get into the kind of more punctilious details of, what's Rosh Hashanah about? What is Yom Kippur about? What to expect when you go to services, right? The service is longer than the normal service, or has different components to it. Certain things in Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur that you don't see any other time of year. There's a lot of shofar blowing involved, for example. So the reason I'm teaching this is that I found, personally, the more I learned about Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the more I learned about the details of the service, the less, I'm going to be very frank here, the less bored I was in services, right? Because you could feel very strongly about being Jewish or learning Jewish things, and then you get to a service and nothing's being explained to you. It can be boring. Right? And it can make you wonder, like, what are you doing there? And is something wrong with me that I'm not enjoying this and getting more out of it? The thing is, there's nothing wrong with you, right? Per se. There may be some things you want to change about yourself, and the high holidays are a great time to do that. But there's nothing deficient about you if you don't, just for not understanding what's going on. And so my goal this year is to have this course so that as many people as possible know what we do and why we do it, because in my experience, that actually helps you have a much more meaningful and much less boring experience of the holiday services themselves. And look, if you're never bored during services, I'm not going to not have like, you're not weird. Maybe you're a little weird because I'm weird and that's how I am. But look, if you have the human experience of feeling lost, feeling disconnected because you don't know what other people seem to know, then I think taking this course could be really helpful for you. And so that's why I'm offering the course. And all you have to do is join the Jew Curious School, and you go to jewcurious.school/info. And that page will give you some information. Okay, here's what we do in the Jew Curious School. Here is our guarantee that if you don't like it within the first 30 days, you can just cancel it, all your tuition back, and no questions asked, no hassles, or anything like that. And then you can just kind of see it, get in there and look around a little bit. Take some of the Introduction to Judaism classes. Take some of the other deep dive classes that we've had on Jewish thought and philosophy and history, various holidays we've talked about, Jewish spaces, Jewish time, how Jews perceive time and the holidays and things like that. A lot of great deep dive stuff there. My favorite part by far, and I've said this before, bears repeating that my favorite part is the community. Is if you've seen how nice people are to each other on this chat, it's that just turned to 11 in the community forum inside the Jew Curious School. So you get to know people. People have book recommendations. People have challah recipes. We share jokes from time to time, but people also share serious moments in their lives and things that they're struggling with. And I and other people in the community are there for support, to answer questions, to just give a high five or a hug when you need it. So that's something worth checking out. If you've been looking into the Jew Curious School and you've been on the fence about it, just want to make sure you're aware. Next week, Monday afternoon, we start talking about the High Holy Days, and we're going to be doing it 4 classes, 1 per week for 4 weeks. The cool thing is that those are recorded. So if you can't make it live, if that time doesn't work for you, you can always go back and watch it later. And you can still participate because, with the class, there's a link to the community forum. So if you're watching a lecture or watching a discussion that we have live and your questions aren't fully answered, you can then go into the forum and say, I like this video or I didn't like this video, but here's a question I still have. Can you help me out? And that's how we can make this a much more interactive experience, and you can get all of your questions answered to your satisfaction. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, if you just want to look around a little bit, if you want to try it out, 30 days risk-free, just go to jewcurious.school/info, and that'll take you to where you need to go. And if you decide to join the school, you'll get a whole series of orientation lessons to help you navigate the place and help you meet new people and check it out. So just wanted to say that's happening. And what I'm working on right now, it's not. I was hoping to have it ready for this broadcast today. Not quite ready. I'm working on having the High Holy Days not only included in the Jew Curious School. By the way, forgot to mention, not only are we recording this series, but everything that we've done in the Jew Curious School is recorded, which means we have. I haven't checked lately, but I think it's about 100 different video lessons on all sorts of topics recorded in there. So you could pop in there, watch all the lessons that are on there. If you have that kind of time, watch 100 different lessons in 2 weeks, and you say, "Map, it's not for me, bye," and get a full refund. And that's according to the rules, right? You could totally do that. I hope what you'll do is come in and meet some people that make you want to stick around, because that's been the vast majority of people who've joined us have stuck around, come for the learning and stayed for the community, because that's how great the people in that community are, including folks like Kay Dixie, Nawa 64. New students will be joining us in the Jew Curious School. All right, very cool. We're joining this weekend after Sunset Sunday. Okay, very cool. Really going to be looking forward to meeting you there. Really looking forward to taking our learning together to the next level. So sorry I was waxing philosophical and missed that in the chat. So really happy to hear about that. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for the people who are in the chat. Kathy and Ruthie, who are already there, and you bring so much to this live chat community as well. And I just want to pause for gratitude. So let's get on with our journey. That's what I wanted to share with you. We're starting a brand new course on the High Holy Days, which are going to be here before you know it. We'll maybe talk about some of the practicalities of getting tickets and things like that. Like, why do they sell tickets for High Holy Days? Is it the circus? Is it a movie? And is it a trip? It can be a circus, can be a trip, not a movie, but there are tickets. Like, what's up with tickets? And we'll talk all about that there. I also have some YouTube videos on the High Holidays. Want to be trotting out my got off track there. Two more things that are coming up besides this new class starting on Monday is I'm going to restart from last year the 31-day fall holiday challenge. And this is a series of 31 videos that I made about the fall holidays of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, and all like the little satellite holidays around those. So that's a 31 video series on YouTube. And for people who sign up for the whole 31 days, and I don't check attendance, but I say, okay, you sign up for that, you get those videos sent straight to your email box, or links to them, because that would be crowded. But you get a link a day to a new video about the fall holidays. You can learn a ton about it. And for people who sign up for that challenge, I'm going to be doing what I did last year, which was giving away a starter Jewish library. And I forget if it's 1 people or 3 people. I think it might be 3 people. I'm giving away a starter Jewish library. This is a handful of books. People ask me all the time, John, I'm just learning about Judaism. What are some books you recommend to start out? And so I have a short list of books, and there are tons of books out there, but I have sort of a short list that were helpful for me and I think might be helpful for you. And it's a set of like 5 or 6 books, I forget, but I call this a starter Jewish library, and I'm going to be giving one, I think maybe 3 of those away for people who sign up for the challenge. So watch the skies for that. I'll tell you more about that on Monday's broadcast. But we've got the High Holy Days class coming out in the Jew Curious School. We've got the Fall Holidays Challenge happening on YouTube. And something else I mentioned that didn't quite complete the thought, this High Holy Days class from the Jew Curious School, I think in addition to it being in the Jew Curious School, I may offer as a standalone class as well. So if you're not quite ready for that kind of long-term commitment, even though it's risk-free and just kind of month to month, but if you're not quite ready to jump into the whole school experience and you just want to take those 4 lessons in the High Holy Day class, I'm going to have that as a separate class that you can take. So stay tuned for all that stuff. Really appreciate, and I couldn't do any of this if it weren't for the great people in this community, people subscribing and throwing cheers and helping us with the video equipment and the hosting. And I'd say like the internet is free, but a lot of the tools and software to operate schools are not. So if we didn't have people supporting the school, if we didn't have people supporting this channel, if we didn't have curious people showing up to learn, then I couldn't teach any of this stuff. So I want to say props to you all for being here. That's sort of the end of my big, long infomercial this morning. Let's go on to have a little fun. Certainly, if anybody has questions about the Jew Curious School itself, what it means to be a member, how do you get involved, feel free to ask those questions, and I'll answer all that I can while I'm going on to the Sand Kingdom here in Mario Odyssey. But also, whatever questions you have about Tisha B'Av, which is starting on Saturday night, or questions you have about the High Holy Days. Like, I've got a whole lesson plan prepared, but I don't know everything you have questions about. Maybe there's something that's like obvious to me, but not obvious to other people. Or you have a different circumstance in your life than I've ever had, so I don't know how it affects you. Whatever questions you have about the High Holy Days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, whatever questions you have about Tisha B'Av or anything else Jewish, feel free to pop those into the chat here on Twitch. If you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook Live, if you leave questions there in the comments, I come back after the broadcast to answer those questions. But if you want them answered live, come to twitch.tv/Jew Curious, and that's what I'm monitoring right now. And Radio Angel says, awesome. So let's keep going here. Now, here we are. We're in a ship over hot cups of tea that we're drinking out of hats, it appears. I'm going to say it's coffee, just in case. Got my ear goggles and I'm ready to go. On the mic is my man we call Mario. Well, chase him down in no time in the Odyssey. Seeing as how we've got some time to kill, useful skills, travel tip, ground pound. Oh, I forgot how to do the ground pound. Smash blocks for enemies below you or flatten out bumps in the ground. Nothing beats a ground pound. Okay, press ZL in midair. Okay, that's it. Ba-dum. Okay, how to do the ground pound. Great. We should discuss the Sand Kingdom. You've no doubt pieced together, it is entirely covered in sand. And as you can imagine, it gets quite hot. There's some ruins there and an artifact called the Binding Band that links people forever like a wedding ring. I wonder if Bowser's going to try to use that on Peach. And Bowser seems like just a sort of creep that would steal, hey, no name calling, Hat Man. I mean, Hat Guy, whatever your name is. Okay, priceless antiquity, sham wedding, blah, blah, blah. All right, welcome back to the Jew Curious Show. Here we are playing a little Mario on Fun Friday. I know it's 9 days, so I'm not eating meat, a big meat sandwich and a glass of wine in front of you. We'll save that for Shabbat. But we do like to have a little bit of fun here on the Jew Curious Show. No dancing. I won't be dancing today, or probably ever. But, you know, you never know. So that's the fun of live broadcasting. Huzzah, I declare the maiden voyage of the Odyssey a complete success. Apparently it's very cold over there, but why is it so cold? I thought deserts were supposed to be hot. Have you been to Antarctica? Obviously not. The top of the tower is shining. How could that be? Could it be a power moon? Okay. So maybe if I get to the top of that tower, I'll find out what the heck is going on here. Whee! I'm going to try this ground pound business. Boosh. What's this guy say? Oh. Nope, I'm talking to him. So cold. We are in Tostarena Town. What does this guy have to say? Oh. Our kingdom froze when that strange couple got here. Why did they do this? It says, what does he say? Open the map. Checkpoint flag. Okay, I don't know what these trophies are all about. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, that guy's obviously important. I saw the craziest couple come racing past on their way to the ruins. I figure they're still out that way. Look, Bowser's footprints. They just kind of stop right there. Maybe this little road has something to do with it. Excuse me, shrooms. Excuse me, shrooms. Excuse me, shrooms. Hey. Hey, how'd you guys get up here? Arrow. Oh, it's Bullet Bill. Hey, what's up, Bullet Bill? Alright, I'm going to need a heart pretty soon here. Maybe I can ground pound this guy, see what happens. Nope, but I bet if I hit him with a bullet bill, I could get something to happen. I love these spinning coin things where I can just stand there and get everything. What is he doing? Like sunning himself on that iceberg. Woohoo! Toaster. Oh, look at that. I got all my full hearts back. Let's see. Follow the arrows. This looks safe. Okay. This looks like a place for ground pounding. Hey. Alright, how do I get inside there? I'm going to guess it's by getting in the pipe. Cool. Alright, I am not good at this game anymore. Okay. Come on, Bully Bill. Oh, I got a power moon. Cool. Oh, wait. No, I released a power moon over there. That's no fun. Alright. Jump on that. Oh. And here we go. Down in the sand. Da-ba-da-ba. Twitch outs. Shabbat shalom, y'all. Hey, good to see you, Twitch outs. Shabbat shalom to you. Let's see. Susan Bird, thanks again for becoming a follower. Woohoo! Okay, so nothing good is ever going to come of this. I think my best bet is getting up here. Okay. Is that better or worse? Alrighty. Let's try this again. At least I got full hearts. Christy B says, Shabbat Shalom, Twitch outs. Bye bye bye. It's the Mario Niggin. Bye 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 bye. Bye 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 bye. Bye 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 bye. Da 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 di di da bye bye bye. Bye bye bye. Ya da da di di da da da. Ya da da di da da da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Ya da da da. Hey, I made it to the top of that tower they were talking about. Yep, boop boop boop. Here we go. Biddy bum. I'm laughing here. Thank you very much. Biddy bum, biddy Mario. Alrighty. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Jew Curious Show. This is a show where people who are curious about Jewish things can learn with me. The first, I believe the first and possibly the only rabbi live streaming on Twitch. Oh, look, mini hearts. Whatever questions you have about Judaism, Jewish people, Jewish traditions, we are here to answer for you. Okay, here's another one. How best to engage with teens who are bored with all the Jewish stuff? Get them to do stuff together. That's my quick answer. Did this cool thing in my synagogue the other day, or synagogue wherever. It's not my synagogue, it's everybody's synagogue. But this particular synagogue, what is going to get him to work? I don't know. Bye. Where they had the USY kids. USY is United Synagogue Youth. If you're in a conservative synagogue, They often have these programs whereby young people get together. Yeah, I think I got stuck in a hole here. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye. And they have the kids the kids do this thing where they do cooking. Okay then, so that's how that works. Where the kids put on a dinner. The USY students. Those coins are only good in this kingdom. Okay, good to know. Yay! Little Suicide Squad there. Agree, but not near synagogue. Sigh. Okay. Well, but I was just going to say these kids get together and they do a dinner, and for the past couple of days they've been having a test kitchen inside the synagogue, cooking together. So kids bored with all the Jewish stuff, and the fact is that kids get bored with Jewish stuff. Kids get bored with religious stuff. Kids get bored with any stuff that's not about them and their friends. And so the best thing you can do is put together fun activities or fun ways to get together that have some kind of Jewish content or related to a holiday. You know, get them cooking. Find out the things that they like to do and see if you can't do that in some sort of context of a Jewish holiday or learning about Jewish values. Sometimes Jewish values are helping out poor people, and you put together activities where kids can help those in need, and they do appreciate that, and they have a little fun doing it. Meanwhile, they're learning about, let's see. Okay, that's better. Meanwhile, they're learning about Jewish values of helping people in need and how they can actually have an impact on the world. And if you can do it in a way that's fun, then they have fun with their friends, and they associate it not necessarily with like just Jewish stuff, but they associate it with having fun with their friends and feeling good about what they do. So if you're not near a synagogue, I would say, like, are you near a food pantry? You know, are you near a place like a kitchen where you can help people in some capacity? Get your kids and their friends together to do an activity related to that. And there'll, you know, in the background there'll be the Jewish values and things like that, but what they'll remember is the fun that they have with their friends. All right, this guy. Put on his shades again. You can see. How do I get out of this guy? Okay, here we go. Oh. Okay. So we're trying to get more involved. We have done volunteering in the past. She suffers from chronic illness, so it's challenging. That is challenging. That's really challenging. We've got other things distracting you from the things you want to do. So good on you for keeping the kids involved despite challenges. Despite one of the challenges being the great, you know, the boredom of teenagerness. But I think if you find out, you know, see if you can talk to the kids. Say, is there something, like, what's the most important thing to you in the world that doesn't involve yourself? Like, kids have values and kids have strong opinions about the world. And they say, well, I'm really sad that there are homeless people in my area. I'm really sad that there are kids my own age who don't have access to food or schools, or maybe have an immigrant status that makes them unsafe. You know, find out what your kids are passionate about. Just say, tell me if there's one thing that you're really passionate about that helps somebody else, and then find ways to help the kids do that, and they'll appreciate you for that. They'll feel great about themselves, and if you can get more than one of them together, and it becomes a social experience. Little leap of faith here. Whoop. Dee 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 dee. Yeah, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye. Okay, apparently I need to find 5 of these mini hearts to make a maxi heart. No, bye, baby, bye, 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 bye. Okay. Where are all these mini hearts? Okay, dee 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 dee. Don't want to go in there. Don't want to touch a cactus. Okay, what am I missing? Okay, there's another one. Don't get too close to the edge there. I just need one more of these. If anybody sees it, shout out to me in the chat. Just say if you're joining us today, we're multicasting on Twitch. Oops. We're multicasting today on Twitch and on YouTube and on Facebook. If you're joining us on Facebook or YouTube and you have a question you want answered live, please join us on Twitch if possible. If not, after the Twitch broadcast, we'll go about 2 hours, say maybe another half hour. And then what I do is I run my traps. I check the trot lines, as my mama used to say. And I go back to Facebook and to YouTube. Whatever questions are left in the comments there, I will answer right away and be delighted to do so. Let's see. There he is. Ba 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 ba. Why does he have that on his nose? Uh-oh, I've opened the upside-down pyramid. I sense a pyramid scheme. Ha 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 ha. Oh, there's Bowser in his boat, and there's Peach. I wonder if I'll catch her this time. Seems like every time I get close to that boat, the boat goes someplace else, and I'm stuck with the boss battle. Let's see if something exciting happens here. Showdown on the inverted pyramid. Look around. Y to zoom. Oh, that looks like a boss battle arena if I've ever seen one, and I have. Okay, so looks like that's the way I'm going. This fellow has something to say. Excuse me, Skullface. Things are heating up at the inverted pyramid. They must be trying to steal the binding band. Oh no. Let's go in there. Helpful sign. Travel tip. Roll. I've been trying to do that. When you want to move quickly, just zip down a hill. Crouch down and press Y, and you'll be able to roll. Let's try that. Go up a hill. Whoop, 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 whoop. Too much. Almost had a cactus. Yeah, apparently doesn't work when you're not going downhill. There's the bus. Oh, what is over here? Hey! Ground pounded me a moon, y'all. Lost in the luggage. Yep, there's a car frozen in a block of ice. What could possibly go wrong? That looks safe. An upside-down pyramid of all places. Inside the inverted pyramid. Y to accelerate, and jump out into the abyss. That's how to play Mario badly. And I lost some coins on that one too. Gonna hitch a ride on Bill here. Okay, that is how you ride the bullet. Let's play a little 2D Mario now. Oh, look at that. That seems helpful. Oh my gosh, I think I'm going to throw up. That just really wigged me out to get inverted Mario. Okay. And I fell down the hole. Bum, 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 bum. I'm going to start that business over again. Oh. Okay. Nope. If you're just joining us, this is the Jew Curious Show. Today is Fun Friday, so I'm answering whatever questions you have about Judaism while having a little fun playing Super Mario Odyssey. And I'm going into inversion. I don't know. This is sometimes a little bit disorienting here. Deet, 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 deet. Okay. Ooh. Oh, that's how you do it. Oof. Today, especially, we're interested in answering. I'll answer whatever questions you have, but especially because Tisha B'Av is coming up. You might have questions about that. That's the 9th of Av. It is a fast day. Very important to know. Tisha B'Av celebrates. There's a tradition, I'll say, that both the first and the second temples of Judaism. The first temple built by Solomon, the second temple built by Ezra and Nehemiah, were allegedly destroyed on the same calendar day, right? Several hundred years apart, but the same calendar day, the 9th of Av. And legend has it that there's a lot of other things that were... Oh, looks like I've got to ride a bullet through here. And there were lots of other things in Jewish history that happened bad on this day as well. Now, some people say, is it really possible that all of those bad things happen on the very same date? And some people say unlikely. However, the reason we mark Tisha B'Av in that way is that if, as my teacher, Rabbi Ed Feinstein, says, if we marked every bad thing that ever happened in Judaism on the day that it actually happened, we would literally never stop mourning. And so one of our practices... Whoosh! Hey, I got a heart there. That's nice. And I still have no idea what to do. Oh, now I do. If we mourned every bad thing in Jewish history on the day that it actually happened, we would literally never stop mourning because it would cover the entire calendar. And so what Rabbi Ed Feinstein and others teach is that we set aside one day. We set aside one day for mourning every bad thing, just about, so that we don't have to mourn everything on its anniversary. And this, in a way, saves us from excessive suffering, so that we're able to celebrate holidays and celebrate Shabbat and things like that. So we put all of our sadness into this one day, and we fast and we read the saddest book of the Tanakh, the Lamentations, and observe other mourning practices as well. And that's why we do Tisha B'Av the way we do Tisha B'Av. So real quick, we got some. Oh, it's good to see Hebrewski here in the house. Welcome back, Hebrewski. Nice to see you again. Hi, I'm part of an online group of Jews who converted to Judaism. The discussion of other folks invalidating our Judaism, particularly from Chabad and Orthodox circles. Do you have any resources about how it's wrong to oppress the convert? Also, how to deal with this situation with tact. And so that's a really compelling question, and immediately brought to mind one of my favorite resources. And I'm going to give a little bit of homework here, because I know there's some people where if I can't play Mario and chat on Twitch and search at the same time. So I'm going to mention a resource that's my very favorite resource on this topic, just in terms of your own kind of inner game, like how you should think about it, not necessarily how to negotiate this with tact with other groups, because sometimes, I was going to say maybe tact might be more than some folks deserve if they're oppressing you in this really unfair way. However, you should be kind even when people don't seem to deserve it, apparently, because you never know, right? But here's my favorite resource, and if somebody out there, Kathy or Kay Dixie or Naya Shashi, if somebody can find this resource and share a link in the chat, I'd be much obliged. Look for Maimonides' letter to Ovadia, or it might be Maimonides' letter to Ovadia the proselyte, Ovadiah. The Hebrew way of saying the prophet's name, Obadiah, if you've ever seen the prophet Obadiah in your Bible. Ovadia was a prophet in the Tanakh who was also a convert. And so this wasn't Maimonides writing to a prophet. This was a guy named Ovadia who had converted, and apparently Ovadia was a very popular name among converts because Ovadia the prophet himself was a convert to Judaism. And so Ovadia, different Ovadia, student of Maimonides, wrote him a letter saying, we have this prayer, and lots of prayers are like this, but he mentioned a particular prayer that says, where part of the text of the prayer is Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu, right? God, our God and God of our fathers. Or there's a particular prayer that goes with the Bikurim, the offering of first fruits, that says, my father was a wandering Aramaean. And Ovadia's question was, how do I say this when my father, his name was Steve and he was a Presbyterian? Actually, I don't know if that's not true. That's just me making stuff up. But like Ovadia's father was not Jewish. And so he says, how do I say this prayer with authenticity and with truth? And Maimonides gives him this whole long reply and says, here's how, here's why. When you dedicate yourself to the covenant, you are just as Jewish as anybody born Jewish. And, Abraham, if not your biological father, becomes your spiritual father because he was the first person like you to make this choice as an adult to enter into the covenant. And so for him, being the convert was in some sense even more praiseworthy than having it as an inheritance, but to be connected to the original patriarch of Judaism. So, if from Yidden, if people who consider themselves more religious because they're more punctilious or more insular or more fundamentalist, what have you, which again represents about 10% maybe of American Jews, and about 30% of Israeli Jews, and probably between 10 to 20% of Jews worldwide. If these folks want to stick to their fundamentalist guns and say, you're not a real Jew because you're not related to us biologically, there is a strain of that in Judaism as well. I wish there weren't, but there is. We're just like everybody else, only more so, which means we contain bigots, which means we contain sort of these blood essentialists. Or if you didn't convert by the kind of rabbi I think you should have converted with, then I'm not going to consider you part of my community. And the notion is that those people don't get to decide how Jewish you are. If you joined the Jewish people, by the standards of the rabbis in the community that you are regularly a part of, that's enough. That's what's required, right? If 3 rabbis of your community say, this person is one of us now, that's all you need, right? And you don't have to impress every rabbi in the world, and certainly not, you don't have to impress the rabbis of a small, I'm going to say statistically fringe group of people who somehow feel more secure when they can make other people feel less secure. I don't worry too much about their opinion. Have I in the past? I absolutely have. Have I had my own securities about being a convert who converted with conservative rabbis? I absolutely have. And yet, over the course of 19 years, I've gotten over that. And I'm not going to give you a magic pill for other people to get over that. It just was a particular process of mine. But I'm saying you don't really have to answer to these folks. You have to answer to God. You have to answer to the people in the community that you're a part of. You do not have to answer to people who are in this community that you're not a part of, trying to project their own particular read on you and your Jewish status. So I'm sure that's a little bit of a soapboxy issue for me. So if and I'll say, if you can handle it with tact, good on you, and maybe teach me how to do it. There was one time I was having coffee, and I say this, let me just back up. I say this having full respect for what Chabad rabbis do, having respect for their mission, and understanding that their theology is not my theology, their politics are not my politics. We're all like, I see myself as a brother to people, to my brothers and sisters, whether they see me that way or not. But I did have a coffee with the Chabad rabbi who later became a good friend. But this was like our initial meeting, and as a liberal rabbi, as a convert to a liberal Jewish community, you know, he and I were not teaching the same thing. We're not on the same path, but still very cordial, very nice to me. And later on, we became good friends and brothers and worked on projects together. But in our initial meeting, he said, "So what kind of name is Carrier?" And I said, I think it's Norman Irish." And that's the last conversation we had for about 18 months. And then later on, we got to work together on a particular project that we were passionate about, and all of those kind of distinctions got erased. You know, sometimes that separation is not so much about a separation between you and the individual, but that individual has loyalty to a group that makes it its political business to separate you two. And when you can get out of the context of that my movement versus your movement stuff and connect with them at the Shabbos table, connect with them on a one-to-one basis, those boundaries tend to dissolve. And so the most tactful thing you could do is say, hey, let's celebrate something together. And, you know, maybe we'll do it your way, maybe we'll do it my way, most likely your way. And you can see that I'm sincere. And like, that's the most tactful thing you could do is celebrate with that person and let them get to know you. And not only, you know, you might change their mind. You might change their families or their community's mind. You never know. So that's my take on that. As KG Wilcox says, I can say thank you for your concern. What I'm thinking is another matter. So, and I do don't get mad about it. You're not going to convince anybody with an argument, something I found in my life. But just live your truth, be your full self in front of people and let them know that that's not destructive. And that's going to be the most effective thing at breaking down those barriers. And in the meantime, look at the, it looks like somebody, a couple of people posted about Maimonides' letter to Ovadia the proselyte. Thank you so much, Nawas and Kay Dixie, and the one is above the scroll. I can't see it anymore, but thank you for posting those resources. Again, very helpful community here. So check those out. And because right now you're dealing with the inner game, I'm projecting. Maybe I was. You know, you're dealing both with the inner game and feeling like you fit in the Jewish world. The inner, and that might be two different processes. You know, feeling I was Jewish probably 12, 13 years before I had this particular spiritual experience in Jerusalem that just erased all of that imposter syndrome for me. And I can't write a prescription for that. and I can't just say get over it, because that doesn't. Because some people said that to me, didn't work. But over time, it's something that people grow out of or grow into a new way of being. And in the meantime, when you're negotiating those, public interactions, just say, okay, I've got my friends. I'd like you to be one of those friends. If that's not going to work right now, I understand. You do you. I'm going to do me. And I trust that we've got each other's backs when things really come down to it. All right, now I've got a boss battle here. Thanks for the great question, Hebruski, especially for people who are considering conversion. That's a really important issue, and I'm glad we got to talk about it. All righty. Thank you to everybody who's watching today. We're going to go maybe one more boss battle, then wrap this up. Been going for about an hour and 50 minutes now. I've got some fun. I've got some cool stuff that I want to do today. Getting ready for starting a new class in the Jew Curious School. Woo-ha! Next week. Whoop. Smashala. So, getting ready for a new High Holy Days class in the Jew Curious School next week. That's a 4-part class on Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah and how to prepare for those and sort of the deeper meaning and very practical surface level stuff that happens as well. Oh, hot stuff. Okay, I'm not playing this game very well. All right, one more try. I see Hebruski posted something that I really want to address as soon as I'm done with this boss battle. So, okay, I need a heart. Have a heart here. Come on. Oh, there's got to be a heart floating around here somewhere. Okay. Oh, poor dear. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it came to violence. Wouldn't be my first way of addressing these problems. I did get a multi-moon out of it, so I'm sorry. I shouldn't gloat about that. But she's fine. She's going to be okay. We're going to see her again later in the game. So I want to scroll up. Some great thoughts from Hebruski here. Thank you for your thoughtful response. The last 2 weeks I've had... Let's see, got a multi-moon there. The last 2 weeks I've had an aggressive Christian proselytizer and a Chabad rabbi who started grilling me about my family history after learning my name. I told him that I converted, returned, and my family was Jewish 2 generations ago, and he still kept grilling me, so I felt a little besieged on a few fronts. It's made me more resilient, but it can be pretty isolating, and I can hear that, and I've heard that from other people as well. The Christian man started grilling me after he saw me reading Torah, which we discussed last week, right? Some people can't mind their own business. KG Wilcox says, isn't causing your fellow embarrassment equivalent to killing them? You could remind the Chabadnik of that and say, you could say that's a great response. A Chabad person will be familiar with, Maseches Bava Messiah 58b, I think, or maybe 59a, where it says, you just say, look, I'm feeling a little bit embarrassed right now, and embarrassing somebody is akin to spilling blood, and that might impress him with your learning a great deal. So, but yes, like, you don't have to endure that kind of embarrassment. You can say, like, this is making me a little uncomfortable, and I don't want to talk about it right now. I find it embarrassing, and maybe that'll put him off right away. So we talked last week about if Christian people are approaching you because you're reading Torah and they're saying, hey, where's the back half of your book? You'd be like, look, you do you. This is good enough for me, and you don't really have to explain myself further. But being besieged, I fully believe that Chabad Rebbes around the world are trying to help Jews do mitzvot. That is their mission, and it's a great mission to do. Are all of them perfect? Are all of them patient? Not necessarily, because all of them are human. But you might come into a situation where it's like, look, this isn't for me. I've got my community. I've got my rabbi. I appreciate you're trying to help me, but I'm just going to go on reading. So things like that. And you don't really have to explain yourself to them. There's plenty of people out there. If they don't want to help you, they can help other people as well. So again, I just want to be super clear, not knocking Chabad as an organization or their rabbis personally. I think they do great work in the world, and sometimes their methods aren't for me, and their methods might not be for you. It's Susan Burt says, some people just don't know how to behave politely and properly. That is absolutely true. and I'll say some people who don't know how to behave politely and properly are attracted to religion. And that's a true thing too, just because, religion is a place that's open to humans. And so people who might not get along in other social circles may gravitate toward religious settings because we tend to be more accepting. And you'll find people, just because they're Jewish doesn't make them saints. Just because they're Christians doesn't make them apostles, right? So it takes all kinds. And the more you can be the person who negotiates that with tact and with humanity and with kindness without giving up your principles, then I think that sets a real example for others. So it says, how odd, the inverted pyramid is floating and it's gotten so much colder. So is it possible to be more cold? It was pretty cold before. Is this more of that Bowser's doing? Let's see if we can get into a little bit more trouble in our last 5 minutes or so of this broadcast. I'll say, if you've been here with us the whole time, really thank you. This has been a pretty fun Friday. We've addressed some really... now it's not as safe as it used to be here. Do I want a hat? Nah. Maybe I'll go get a hat later. See what this guy's up to. We've talked about, Tisha B'Av. We've talked about how to dress for Tisha B'Av. We've talked about how to speak with people who maybe don't agree with your Jewish path as being, dissimilar from their Jewish path. But some really great questions today. So thank you for asking questions. Thank you for being present for each other. Thanks for the cheers and the subscriptions we've gotten today. Puts us one step closer to a better microphone and possibly some new games. I was hoping to get a new game today. I was going to, but I put it off to the last minute. I thought it was a downloadable thing. It was not. Okay, there's some zombies and mummies after me. But I was going to get Legends of Zelda, The Breath of the Wild. However, turns out it's not a downloadable title. I have to go get a physical copy. So maybe next week we'll do that. Looks like Mario is cold chillin'. Wait, I've been to the top of the pillar before, so maybe I can port up there. Maybe not. Is that where I'm trying to get to right now? Warp a little bit closer. Thank you. I could use some cold. SoCal is so hot. Oh, Hebrewski's in SoCal. And K. Dixie says a lot of us are. I'm in SoCal. Oh, Hebrewski, 3 cheers. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Okay, where am I going here? Okay. Trying to get to that pyramid thingy. So we got SoCal. Naya Shashi's also here from SoCal. I'm in SoCal. Christy B, I think, is in beautiful San Bernardino. Okay, what's with that? Whoop, oh, oh. Didn't know the mummies were going to be there. I was looking at that glowing pyramid thingy. Oh, I forgot about that part. Hey, look at that. Welcome to Tostarena, here to see the sights. You know about the action guide, right? No, I know about the... Oh, Krista B. Yep, sunny San Bernardino. Thank you, and yay, SoCal peeps. Okay. I'm just going to go. That seems dangerous, going down there. I wonder if that's something I should do. Oh, there's a little power moon up there. Dee-dee-dee. What? Well, I'm not dead, so apparently that was a good thing to do. Uh-oh, ice seems unsafe. Whoop, 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 whoop. And Alakazap. There we go. Glad it didn't melt the bridge I was on. Let's get some of those local currency. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Like I feel that in my body when I get off the edge like that. Just get this rush of adrenaline like when you're driving and a police car pulls up behind you. Maybe that's just me because I used to be a bad driver. I'm a better driver now. I don't get as scared. But I always wonder if I'm doing something wrong. It's just my own insecurity and personality. We've all got one. Some of us have 3 to 5. Whoop, nope, nope, nope. Okay. I'm gonna go hang out with that guy. Whoop, 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 whoop. This ice is not my favorite thing to do. Boosh. Come on, Bill. Bill's got a hat on. I'm going to accelerate just because I know. Woohoo! I made it. First try. All right. Hebrewski, Hilverson, Orange County. Mrs. Bob Ross, thank you for all you have taught me. Mrs. Bob Ross, it has been my great honor. Thank you for being here. I couldn't teach a darn thing if people didn't show up to learn. So I thank you for being here, and thank you for learning with me in the deepest underground here. What's up with that? Okay, apparently I'm still very cold. All right, I guess if I just keep walking forward, some good stuff will happen. That's, I think, a good philosophy for life in general. If you just keep walking forward, some good stuff will happen. Especially you're getting shot with a bullet wearing a hat. And this looks like a boss battle about to happen. I'm going to accelerate just so that I don't blow up with the bullet. Oh, this guy. It's like an Aztec idol with rocket boxing gloves, which is something you never want to see in real life. Where Ringo? I always think of him as like the Easter Island head from Night at the Museum. Okay. No, I'm gonna... Whoosh. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Said the guy who grew up with brother. Whoop. Okay, that's not cool. I'm gonna see if you can't unlock that heart for me. Oh, bump, 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 bump. Alright, it was a worthwhile attempt. Let's try this again. Got caught in the slot there. Only now I think I know what I'm doing a little bit better. Throw the hat at the bullet with the other hat on. And accelerate so that I get to the place. Dun, 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 dun. Oh. Okay, jumped a little too soon there. Got some great cheers today. We got 3 cheers. Total 800 bits. That's pretty cool. We got a subscription today. That is approximately 3% more of the way to our preamp. But I really appreciate everybody's help. Just this couldn't be the community is without you folks. So thank you for being here. Thank you for asking some great questions today, and in general. Okay, now we're going to go a little bit farther and faster. Maybe when I get to this boss battle. And that's the thing about video game junkies like me. After the next boss battle, one more boss battle, and then we'll stop for the day. And then we get a little bit confused and say, maybe the second boss battle, then we'll stop. Where Ringo? Get K Dixie subscribed for a 2nd month. Thank you for being here, Kathy. Okay, we... right in the kisser. Okay, I don't condone violence against ancient idols, but he started it. Okay, where are those? I'm a little bit worried when I can't see the hands. You did exactly what I wanted you to do. Which I can't really see what's going on here. Right in the kisser. Okay, I know there's another heart out there somewhere too. Take that. Nope, 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 nope. I'm gonna let you pound out this heart for me as well. Haha. He's trying to give me the clap there. Oh, oh, what did I say? Nope, right the 3rd time. KG Wilcox subscribed to Tier 1. They're subscribed 2 months. I got a 2-month subscribers here. KG Wilcox and K Dixie have been huge supporters of this channel, going way back. And been doing some fun stuff here. Couldn't do it without you. Okay, what happened here? We got a multi-moon. Alaka Snap. And I have to apologize. In between Fun Fridays, I've been playing a little Splatoon, so I finished that game. And, well, I'll tell you what, I'll hold off on more Mario Odyssey until we are together again. So maybe we'll play again next week, or maybe we'll play Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is an interesting rated E for everyone, 10 and up title, which is kind of our vibe here. But really great to learn with everybody today. Got some subscribers, got some cheers. Really grateful for that, and for all the great questions that have been asked and the great support people have been giving to each other, and that's what makes this show so exciting for me. Woo! It's hot now, but I do suppose that's what we were trying to accomplish. If we keep this pace, we'll catch that Bowser in no time. Now I believe what's happening is we got to get enough power moons to get out here. Let's go see what we've accomplished. That's a lot of moons. Oh, oh, so close. How much more do we have to get? Let's just see. 6 more moons. All right, I think with that, we've been going about 2 hours now, and I've got a little bit more work to do to put together some things for next week. Again, watch the skies. And one great way to keep up with what's going on in this community, you could join the Jew Curious Community Center. Just go to jewcurious. Let's see. Here's the best way. Rabbi John Carrier. Go to rabbijohncarrier.com/JCC. That gets you in the Jew Curious Community Center. Or go to rabbijohncarrier.com/3. That's the number 3 and the word things, 3 things. And that gets you hooked up with a guide that I have for Jew curious people, some things that help you with your studies. Either way, you'll be subscribed to our community email list, which will let you know how to take advantage of some things that are coming up, including the this year's 31-day Jewish Fall Holiday Challenge. That's a series of 31 videos. You get links to those directly to your email box. So every day for 31 days, you can watch a new video that will keep you totally informed and educated about Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, all the holidays and tradition, all the like mini satellite holidays like Shmini Atzeret and Simchat Torah, and ceremonies like Tashlich and the month of Elul. So much stuff about the high holidays. You will know everything that I know by just watching these 31 videos. There's going to be a little bit of a fun thing we're going to do in there where people who sign up for that, at some point we're going to have a drawing for a starter Jewish library. Some people out there may have all the Jewish books you need, but for people who are looking for books to start with, we're going to do a little giveaway there, as well as a standalone High Holidays course. That's 4 lessons about Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, how to prepare for them, how to get the most out of them. And this is going to be, you could either join that as a standalone class, or it will also be available inside the Jew Curious School, where there's not only that class, but tons of classes, including a complete Introduction to Judaism class, and the dopest learning community that I've ever been a part of is there as well. So be in the know, be in the Jew Curious Community Center on Facebook, and you will hear about all of these things. So with that, I'm going to sign off for today. Thanks again to everybody who hung out today. A lot of great activity in the chat, a lot of great support with cheers and subscribers. I'm so grateful. I couldn't do anything that I do without you here learning with me, asking your great questions, supporting me, supporting each other. And with that is the JCC, the Facebook page of the same name. Yes, that's the Jew Curious Community Center on Facebook. So I'll be announcing things in there as well as these new things are developing today. So get involved there. I will say, if you want to join the Jew Curious Community Center, I ask some questions up front. So that, when you join, I like to know what your email address is, just because I like people to identify themselves. I don't want any, not because I use it as spam or anything like that, but I like people to kind of commit their identity to it, because I want to keep out anybody who's just a bot account or troll or anything like that. And also there's some just kind of rules of the road that I want people to follow in that community. If you join the JCC, look for Jew Curious Community Center on Facebook, and you go join and it asks you questions, please answer the questions. Because I just say it as a matter of policy, if you don't answer those questions, I can't let you in, because I do that to keep it like a safe, troll-free zone for everybody. So please, if you want to join us, answer the questions that are asked, and I'll pop you right in. KG Wilcox also shares, and just finished People of the Book, and it's wonderful. So great recommendation there. So one last word of gratitude. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining us on Fun Friday. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, I'm going to hit those comment sections and chats right after this. So stay tuned, and if you ask a question there, I will answer it there. With that, I want to wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom, a Sabbath of peace. I want to wish you an easy and meaningful fast for Tisha B'Av, and then I will hook up with you guys again next Monday right here on Twitch, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern Time, for another session of Ask Me Anything. Until next time, heroes, peace.